The rivalry between the West and China is not just a matter of US tariffs and economic dominance. It is an active phase of a continuing de facto war in virtually every aspect of life, including security. As analysts argue, where Beijing cannot dominate thanks to cheap labor and competitive prices, hostile takeovers or buyouts occur because China will spare no money to get a leg up. This is an American show of force with a range of 2,500 kilometers. A few days ago, it appeared on Japanese training grounds as part of the Dragon maneuvers conducted by the United States in support of its allies in the Pacific. Typhoon launchers armed with Tomahawk missiles can freely strike targets on the Chinese coast. This obviously did not please Beijing because it is an argument to which China has no answer. The deployment of the Typhoon missile system in Japan further undermines the legitimate security interests of other countries and poses a serious threat to the regional strategic security. Military rivalry is not only problematic for Beijing in the Pacific region, it is impossible to build military capabilities quietly. However, the technological advantage that the Chinese are exploiting around the world is another matter.
You get paid to borrow hundreds of millions, billions.
As revealed by Declan Ganley, an Irish military telecommunications magnate, the West is losing the technological war with China by a large margin. In the latest episode of one of the most popular podcasts in the United Kingdom, he pointed out a whole series of holes in security systems, from electronic equipment to international flights over Chinese territory.
You spend hours flying over China, and everybody has their aircraft Wi-Fi turned on. But what they don't realize is, and in fairness to the Wi-Fi providers, it says this is an unsecure connection, da, 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 da. When you're flying over China, all your emails, your WhatsApps, your everything are going up from that satellite terminal on the aircraft to a satellite, a commercial satellite, that's not the Internet, is being landed in a Chinese ground gateway, and everything is being intercepted.
The same applies to Chinese-made electronic equipment. This doesn't just apply to smartphones, the sale of which has been partially banned in the United States, but also computers, car radios, and even televisions. That is why Ganley himself is working on building the Outer Net, which is supposed to be a new secure internet resistant to hacker attacks or cutting of cables running along the ocean floor. It is supposed to be a cable-free internet based solely on satellites.
The Internet has no gateways. It does not touch the ground. You go from the terminal up to the Internet. You stay on the Internet. You get routed around the planet to the end destination, and you get landed. You do not touch the Internet at all. And that is unique. But it also makes it the fastest in the world, the lowest latency in the world, and very importantly, it has the tiniest attack surface of any global cyber attack surface of any global communications network, because you can't cyber attack something if you haven't got a connection to it.
Offer services previously.
The problem is that the Chinese are monitoring the market. They know perfectly well who is building or planning to build what, and what could harm Beijing's interests. According to Ganley, one of the entities working in Germany on the Internet concept was subject to a hostile takeover by a Chinese-owned company, and this was certainly no coincidence.